Indie authors, let's talk about editing your book. So, I'm going to confess here that the four books that I've just published, Half Dead, I did not pay for editing whatsoever because I've done it all myself. Now, the reason that I've done that simply is because I cannot afford to do any editing, pay for any editing. And I suppose every other indie author out there is going to be in the same boat. So, do you actually need to get any editing? Yes, in a perfect world, you do. But if you're capable of doing it yourself, then why not do it yourself? Because there's you this. I mean, you're talking about at least a couple of grand onwards and upwards for just one edit, and there's a multitude of different edits that I've kind of come across. I'll just read a little list. I've got your developmental edit, you've got structural edits, character edits, world building edits, scene level edits, nuance edits, line edit, copy edit, and proofreading. And those are just a few of the things that I've kind of come across. Most of these you pay per word. So the bigger your novel, the longer your novel, the larger the word count, the more it's going to cost you. And these are costs that an ordinary indie author just simply can't afford. So that's one of the pitfalls of being an indie author. If you can't afford to pay for it, how do you do it? The other alternative is just to do it yourself. Now you might think, well, you're going to have mistakes in there. Of course, there's going to be mistakes that are just going to slip through the net. Absolutely. And I've read professionally published books that have gone through who have got like whole teams behind them, and they still have mistakes in them. So there's one book, for example, that I've read. It's a guy called, and I've mentioned him before, who does a similar series to mine, and I've read the first seven books that he's published, and there are a multitude of mistakes in his books. Does it detract from the reading of the book? No, I wouldn't say so. But as a writer myself, I'm picking them up and saying that's just a silly mistake. So proofreading is like one of the easiest things you can do. You've got spell checkers on like most kind of writing software these days, so you shouldn't be getting spelling mistakes. So that's one of the easiest things that you can correct. The rest of it, kind of all structural and all those kind of sentence structures and paragraph structures and chapter structures and all that kind of stuff. You kind of should be doing that yourself anyway. You should have a feel for that at least. So I think like the books that I've just released, I think I've done a pretty good job. Now, somebody reading that, like an editor reading that, will just kind of pick up on things. Oh, ooh, 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 ooh. But the average person who's reading the books out there, they're not going to be bothered about that too much. I don't think. Obviously, the blatant like spelling mistakes, they're going to pick up on that. But the structure of the book, as long as they're enjoying the story and the story and the plot and everything makes sense, then I think your book's going to be fine. So unless you've got money to put into getting edits done, then it's not something that us kind of indie authors are going to be able to afford. And me, definitely, I can't afford it at the moment. That's not to say in the future that I won't use those services. I probably will if I'm making money from my books. We'll see. But at the moment, I simply can't afford to do that. So that's why I am not paying for any editing services. Thank you very much.